Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to We Can Do This. My name is Julie Bowd, your hostess with the mostest, and I welcome you back to another episode of one of our unique topics that we're going to talk about on my channel. And before we start, I would like to ask that you please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button below. Give me that thumbs up. I really appreciate it if you did. And today we're going to talk about something different. I wanted to kind of calm it down a little bit. You know, some of the topics I've done so far have been very rough, have been very deep, some more than others. Today I found a very unique thing to talk about that we don't normally think about. And that's why I titled this Shh, It's a Secret, because that's what I'm going to talk about today. Things that we all secretly do at work that won't say out loud. Now, some of these things that we do are more funny than others, and some of them actually involve our jobs and what we do kind of as a self-preservation thing. But once again, I want to welcome everybody today. I was kind of really looking forward to doing this topic today. It's a little different for me. It's not something that's so intense. And I've had a little bit of a roller coaster week. I had good with the bad. So I'm kind of glad that I chose this topic for this week. So we're going to get started. And one of the first things we do secretly at work that we're not going to admit to doing or that we don't say out loud is we schedule fake meetings. Now, as a buyer, we use Microsoft Teams where I work at, and I can tell you that in Microsoft Teams, you do have the options to where you can schedule focus time for yourself, or you can change your status. You know, you can show if you're in a meeting, or you can show you're available, or you can show do not disturb. And I can tell you that I do have focus time scheduled at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, because the in-between can be very chaotic and kind of crazy. But I can tell you that I have in the past, when a day has been so crazy, so filled, and I can say I do this more when I'm working overtime, and I just need a breather to catch up on my work, I will schedule a fake meeting that doesn't exist. And I will take that time to catch up on paperwork, catch up on emails, catch up on phone calls, whatever I have to do, just to keep my head above water. And I only find I need to do that more, you know, when things are intense, like the 3 years that we all just went through. And when I was working 12 to 14-hour days every day during that time, I found that sometimes I needed to do that just to keep my head above water. So that's one thing. This next one I'm laughing about because I know we all do it. I know we've all done it in the positions we have and our jobs. But what we do is we have times where we just go to the restroom, even if we don't have to go. We just need a break. We just want to hide. We just want to be away from people. Whatever it is that we need to do, we know that the restroom is pretty much sacred territory. You know, it's sacred ground. When you go into a stall and you shut that door, it's kind of like the Iron Curtain. You rarely, and I mean very rarely, will someone bother somebody else who's in a closed stall. So that's a great opportunity for us. We can kind of strategically have those breaks in our day when we need them. And we pretty much know that it's going to be time that we can spend to kind of regroup and take a deep breath and chill out a little bit and then move on with our day. So I know I've done that one. Another thing that we do is procrastination. I am not a procrastinator in anything that I do in my life, whether it's work related or not. I hate procrastination, especially when it's something bad. I just want to get it done and get it over with. I don't like having things that are open ended. It is everything I can do to work my darndest to get everything done. But sometimes when you're sitting there and you really just don't want to do something, and we do this in our personal lives too. You will sit there, and have you ever just stared blankly at a computer screen? Or if you're lucky enough to have an office, or even if you're sitting at home, have you ever just blankly stared out the window? And you just sit there for a while and you just don't want to do something. You want to put it off. You look at your phone or do whatever. When you're putting something off, it ends up kicking you in the butt. And I've found that procrastination for me doesn't work. It's better if I just do things and get it over with. But I do find myself during the day where I'm staring out the window, usually if it's a nice day or the weather's doing weird things or whatever it may be. I have stared blankly at my screen. I just think that it's just one of those things as humans that sometimes we even do it and we don't realize we're doing it. And we're procrastinating and don't even realize we're doing it for that purpose. Because I know I have those moments during the day where I just kind of veg out. And so it's just one of those other things that we do that are secret. Another thing we all do, and anybody who says they don't do this at work or don't do this in their lives, you're lying. Because I know we all do it. I do it. You do it. We all do it. It is, we look at social media. We pick up that phone and it breaks the monotony in the day. When you're at work, it took me a long time to realize and understand and make myself realize it up here. My job is not who I am. My job is not my life. My job is what I do. And unfortunately, we spend a lot of time at our jobs. But during the day, when you look at social media or you look at your text messages, whatever it is that you're looking at in your phone or you're doing with your phone, it's a little way to remind us that we're in an environment that's not our lives. It's not who we are. Our lives are out here. This is my life. This is my home. This is who I am. This is not who I am because I'm a buyer. That's just what I do. I love doing it, but it's not who I am in here. And when you'll take a few minutes just to look at social media, it reminds you, reality is out here. We look at our text messages, whatever we do. It reminds us this is our reality and this is the true reality. And it just kind of breaks up that monotony in the day, to make us smile a little bit or to do something personal for ourselves, whatever it is we're doing, just to break it up a little bit. And this next one, daydreaming, is a big one. How many times have we all been sitting in a meeting or even at a family gathering where we're bored out of our minds, or we're just not in the mood to be there, and we sit there and we start daydreaming about sun and the sand and umbrella drinks and getting away. Or one thing I know that I daydream about when it comes to holidays is, aside from having time off of work, one of the things I love to daydream about for holidays is cooking out. We try to cook out every chance we can in the summer, especially if it's a holiday. I love when we cook out, whether it's T-bone steaks, whether it's hot dogs, hamburgers, it does not matter to me. I just love, the warm weather and cooking out and that grilled taste in the food. I sit there and I'll daydream about that. We really don't go on vacations. It's not that I don't dream about it, but I find that that's kind of my go-to whenever it comes to daydreaming. But it's kind of another way that you'll physically be there, but you kind of take yourself out of that environment, at least mentally, and you take that little bit of a mental break from what's going on around you. And the next thing is pretending to look busy. And I know that a lot of pretending to look busy can be done by changing your facial expressions or changing your body language. You can communicate with your body and your facial expressions so that others will read that and see that what you're feeling or what you're doing. Now, I have no poker face whatsoever. I am very expressive. I have never had a poker face. I will never have a poker face. I'm very animated. You can tell what I'm feeling, no matter what the emotion is. You know it. Everybody can read me like a book, and that's a bad thing sometimes. But I'm learning, and that's one of the things I'm teaching myself right now, is how to have that poker face. What things can I do to have a poker face in appropriate situations? And this is a big part of it. It's contorting your facial expressions, controlling. You can control that. And controlling your body language. If you're real stiff and you have a firm face, someone's going to know you're irritated or you're mad about something. But you can also use that to look busy. And say you're sitting here, right? And you have your laptop in front of you. You're typing away. But maybe really you're just staring at your laptop, at your computer screen, and you're not reading anything. You're just sitting there. Or other than typing, you can do this. Really use that face to convey that you're really concentrating on something. People are going to think you're really deep in thought about something. Your facial expressions can speak volumes. So use that to your advantage, and if you need to take that little bit of that break that we just talked about, kind of staring into space, whatever, make it look good. Use that. Teach yourself how to do that. That's my education right now, what I'm doing. And it's hard. I'm not going to lie. It's hard, but I'm going to give it all I can because I really do need to do that, especially for meeting situations or situations where I really do need to kind of chill a little bit, back off a little bit, control the anger a little bit, and work through that. This next thing I'm going to talk about is I don't do this at work. I know people who do. I do not do it, and I'll explain why. What a lot of people do to get that little bit of a break during the day is it's munchie time, and they go to the machine and they get a little treat and a snack, and they take their time walking there, and they take their time back, and they sit at their desk, and they have corn chips or potato chips or pretzels or whatever it is, and they just sit there and they're munching away. Now they may be just taking that little bit of a chill, a little bit of a break, and are just sitting there eating, and they're not working, but they're just taking that kind of moment to kind of step back and just breathe and just maybe enjoy a little treat. Now, I don't do this, and here's why. I do intermittent fasting, and I've done it for quite some time, and I enjoy doing it. And the schedule that I've picked does not permit me to eat from the time I get up in the morning until after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, I'm not going to eat a snack that late in the afternoon because as soon as I get home and get the laundry started and do what I need to do, I eat my dinner then and there. I usually only eat one meal a day, and that's enough for me. I'm not a big eater. I never have been. I'm not a snacker. I mean, people think sometimes I'm a lunatic because I'm not big on cake. I'm not big on cookies. I never have been. Um, and I'm not a snacker, but I can see if you do go take your time, go get that snack, sit down at your desk, and just kind of nonchalantly, you're munching away, munching away. I can see where that would be a good break. Yeah, and I know a lot of people that do that. They just need to take that time and have a little munchy break, and just kind of kick back a little bit, and once they're done, they move on. And kind of going along with the munchy break is also the coffee break. We all know it. We all do it. In the morning, we all need something to get us going. Give us a little jolt. To get us moving. And I personally am not a coffee person. I don't like coffee. I am a green tea person, and it has to have caffeine in it. I am not a morning person. I never have been, and I never will be. But I do get up early in the morning. And when I get to work, one of the things that I need first thing is my green tea kick. And I know that there are some people out there that they just need caffeine all day. Now, most people I know, it's just mostly the mornings, the first couple hours of the mornings. But some people, it's that caffeine they need. Usually, I only have 1 or 2 cups of the green tea, and that's enough for me. And then I turn to my seltzer water, and I'm a happy camper. But when you go to get that coffee in the morning, there's a lot of people that need their morning breakfast. They go in to heat it up, or they need their coffee fix, or whatever it is. So you end up chatting or gossiping or whatever you're doing, and that ends up being a good break. It's a nice break for you just to kind of do some chatting and kicking back, and you're in the kitchen, and you're talking about whatever and what you're doing this weekend and whatever else is going on. So that's another thing that kind of works in the morning. Now I go in very early in the morning, so it's very limited to who's even in the building at that point. But there are a couple of us, I do some chatting in the morning. Good morning, how are you? Have a good day. That type of thing. So there's another thing that we do that's kind of like non-spoken. It's just part of normal day to day of what we do, and take that little break. It helps. Um, this next one is one that I'm also laughing about because how many times, and it's in all places in our lives, whether it's in our personal lives or our work lives, it does not matter. How many times have we sat there and watched the clock count down? And just we sit there and we go, isn't it over yet? I just want to go home. Or, oh my gosh, this day is just dragging. And you find yourself every minute, it's like, it's just dragging to get from 1 minute to the next. And it's just driving you bonkers to get through every minute. We all have those days where some days are just so busy, it keeps you busy and it goes by very quickly. I like those days because they go by quickly. The days that you sit there and then you watch the clock, it just takes forever. It just takes forever, and you just hate it. But we've all been clock watchers. And this one is not so much a fun one, but it is something we do, and sometimes it's out of necessity. It is we exaggerate our accomplishments, what we've done, whether we're working on a project or we're filling out a resume, or getting ready for that interview, getting that information together. We all exaggerate who we are, what our job is, what our responsibilities are. And if you're on a project or if you're working with difficult people or other people who like to take credit for things, we all exaggerate what we've done a little bit and try to puff up, what we've accomplished as well. Sometimes it's just out of getting very frustrated that someone else is all talk and no action. It's the fact that we want to show the members of our team or management who may be breathing down our necks that we are accomplishing the task at hand. And or if we're going above and beyond, we will exaggerate that to make others hopefully see that we are a valuable member of the team, that we are a dedicated person, and that we are really a team player. And being a team player today is very important. So sometimes we embellish what we do to show others and to prove to others, that we can do this. Sometimes you need to convince people of something. They don't believe it until they see it for themselves. And that's very much, part of the job world, because it's so cutthroat these days. The next one's kind of fun. And the reason I say it's kind of fun is because I like doing it. And it's something small. And it's when you're going to be out of the office. It's coming, Thursday, Friday's coming, weekend's coming. I'm going to be off Friday, Monday. You just know you're going to get that break and it's coming soon and it can't come fast enough. And if you have email, what you do is you write the greatest out of office reply. When I am typing an out of office notification, I'm smiling the whole time. I love doing it. And I don't know one person. If you're writing an out of office to say you're traveling or something, okay, that's boring. But if you're doing an out of an office because you're really going to be out of the office, how can you not love penning an email like that? Saying, bye-bye, bye-bye, gonna be gone here. Sorry, but I'm not, just do it. So that one, I like that one. That's kind of a good one. Now, this next one is going to be maybe a little controversial, but hang with me. The next one is sneaking out. Now, I can tell you, I have been through some times in my life, and this has always been when I've been in an office, not in a cubicle. When you're in a cubicle, you really can't do this because you're open to everybody around you. But there are days where you're just exhausted. And let's face it, we're all exhausted. We're burned out. We're tired. We don't get enough rest, or we get rest that isn't restful. We toss and we turn and we don't sleep well, then we're tired the next day. And we just really need sometimes during the day to shut our eyes for 10 or 15 minutes. And here's where I have a problem with especially the work environment today. Workers, no matter what you do, I don't care what you do. Workers, whether you're white collar, blue collar, whatever, you are pushed to the limit because every employer wants to get every little penny out of you they can. And we're pushed to give 125% when we only have 100%. And especially if you are mentally and just emotionally drained, I will tell you from my experience, it is much harder to recover from mental and emotional exhaustion than it is physical exhaustion. I have worked both types of jobs. And when I had physical exhaustion, it was a lot easier to recover. The mental and physical, it drains you. It just feels like you're just drained from head to toe. And sometimes closing those eyes just for 10 or 15 minutes. Now, if you have an office, you can shut your door, okay. Whatever. But we're taught today, and it's in the environment today, we need to just keep going and going. We're not Energizer bunnies. We're human beings. We deserve a break. We all deserve a break. We're all tired. And just to be squeezed to our limit every day of our lives, it's draining. And sometimes if you can just catch that little 10 to 15-minute nap, I know some people go to their vehicles and lay down. They take their lunch break instead of eating. They go to their vehicle and lay down for half an hour. Or if they have breaks, they go out to their car for 10 or 15 minutes and just shut their eyes and just get some peace and quiet, in the tranquility of their own vehicle. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. We all deserve it. We all need it. And that's not what the environment is showing us today, and that's wrong. And that's my opinion, but that's wrong. This is another thing that some people do, just to show they're more dedicated, and it's something kind of secret they can do and hide. And I know that in using the email system that we have at my company, if there is a way to do this, I don't know how to do it, and I don't want to know how to do it. But I know with some emails, you have the capability to set where you can send an email after hours if you want to. And I personally don't use that. I don't like using that. If I was ever sending an email after hours, believe you me, I was working. Trust me on that one. But a way that a person can show they're maybe more dedicated to their job than maybe what they really are, especially if their salary, they can hide it, is they will send an email. They can schedule it to be sent after hours. So it looks like they're really being dedicated. They're really grinding the midnight oil. They're just really great workers, so dedicated, and that's a kind of a way, it's like we talked about exaggeration. You're putting something out there that really isn't the case, but people may see it that way. And you always hope it's someone who notices it that's higher up than you. So it kind of makes you look good. So I know that's a tool that some people use. Another thing, and I've done this more in my personal life. I've done it somewhat at work, but not so much at work. I do it more in my personal life. I pretend to be on my phone. We all have phones, and like if I'm in my office and I know, like I see someone coming, say I'm going to my office and I see someone coming at me, I hurry up and I pretend I'm on a phone call and I'm busy because I just don't want to talk to them right now. I just put it off, or I just, not now, or I need to do something else or get more information or something before I talk to that person. You just pretend you're on your phone. You're yakking away, blah, blah, blah. I'm on the phone. I use my personal phone to communicate with vendors. So, to see me on my personal phone at work is not unusual. And there are some people at work who have company phones, so if they're on the phone, that's fine. But most people have office phones on their desk. Mine personally broke 5 years ago, and I have no interest in getting it back. I hate it. I would rather use my cell phone to communicate with vendors, because then you also have the capability to have their cell number and you can text. And that is a great backup to an email, because there have been numerous times in my job where I've sent emails to vendors and they don't answer them. They get lost in the sea of emails. So I text them personally on their cell phones, and you can get responses a lot faster that way. So that's why I do that. But if you pretend you're talking on your phone, that's a good way to delay talking to someone and, kind of put something off if you need to get more information or you don't have the answer for them yet. So once they're gone and you can put the phone down, you can follow up and get an answer for them and then go talk to them. So just a little trick there. Another thing kind of similar to the cell phone is blaming technology for mistakes. Okay, now we're all human and we all make mistakes, and the people who do not admit that drive me crazy. I make mistakes every day of my life. We all do. We're human. And whether you like it or not, we all make mistakes. Whether you admit it or not doesn't make it true. Yes, it's true. We all make mistakes. But you can blame it on technology, like say, well, oh, yeah, I had trouble with my computer today. There was a glitch in the system or something, or, I was just having a lot of trouble that day with this particular, software piece. And it must have happened during that. Yeah, we use that excuse. It's technology. And there are legitimate times. How many times have we fought with technology? It's great. It is great when it works. But when it doesn't work, sometimes we can try to use that to our advantage if a mistake happens or if something happens. And I know we do that um, just because it's a really easy excuse to use. Um, and that's kind of funny, but the cell phone, the computer, it's all around us. So why not use it, right? Um, Now, the next one is a big one, and it is when you fake sick in order to get out of going to work or school or a meeting or whatever it is. And I think that faking being sick goes all the way back to our childhoods. We all did it during school. There was a test the next day, or there was something happening that we just didn't want to be part of, we didn't want to do, we weren't ready for, whatever it was. And we would say, Mom, my stomach hurts. I don't feel well. I'm sick. And so you got out of going in for the bad thing. Unfortunately, back then, the bad thing usually caught up with you at some point anyway. But we all did it back then. So I think it carried on to our adult lives as well, where there have been times where we're just really tired or worn down, or this is the big one. It's summertime and it's really too nice out to go to work, and I could really get in a golf game today. It's a great day to go to a golf game, or the kids, hey, can we go to a theme park? Like Kennywood or Cedar Point or somewhere like that. Please, please, please. And if it's nice out, it's not really hard to convince someone to do that. Just take a sick day and go and have some fun and relaxation and enjoy the day. So that's something that we've done all our lives from when we were younger up to now, being adults. That's something that we all do. And the final one that I'm going to mention that's secretly done at work is that, and I mean this in a healthy way. This is in a healthy way. We create a secret competition with other coworkers. And I do mean that in a healthy way. I don't mean being mean about it and mouthy about it and nasty about it. That's not what I'm saying. I have somewhat of a competitive nature, not overly competitive. And I'm not competitive with other buyers. I let my job and my results speak for itself. But the people that egg me on are the ones that don't know what they're doing. They're total idiots. They assume things and do stuff wrong all the time. They don't ask questions. And the big one for me, they are yes people. Oh, that just drives me crazy. I can't stand yes people. Unfortunately, management tends to love these people. And this is where I get competitive. In fact, I have had these yes people in my life all my life. And they suck up to the manager, to other managers, to even higher ups. And they're yes people. And they're just, oh yeah, I'll do whatever you want. Sure, no problem. And then they do it wrong, or they don't go completely. They don't communicate with others. And that drives me crazy. It's not that I want appreciation, because I know I'm not going to get it. I don't look for it. I'm doing my job. And if I get a paycheck, great. If I do it volunteer, then as long as I feel happy inside that I help someone else, or I'm trying to do something good for somebody else, then that's okay. But it tends to, in the work environment, you have these people that you're doing a good job, and you go above and beyond to help others with stuff even that isn't even your responsibility. But you're there. You see things as a team, and these other people are just out for themselves. That kind of gets my dander up and gets me a little competitive. But you know, we all have a little bit of that, I think, in us, and we all see those people. Even in our private lives, we do too, and sometimes you just feel like you got to push the envelope a little bit just to be a little bit competitive. But like I said, in a healthy way, in a good way, so that it's positive for all parties included. It doesn't make a bad situation worse. So, with now you know what the secret is. We've gone through it. And I hope you appreciate the fact that I did lighten it up a little bit for this week. I really just needed to take a step back today and do something that would make me smile a little bit and chuckle a little bit. And I hope you did too. And I want to give you my teaser for next week. My topic for next week is going to be, how is your relationship to you? Are you your own best friend? Or is it something different? Once again, I would also like to remind you, please subscribe and hit that like button below. I would really appreciate your support. I love doing these live streams. I love the research I'm doing to be able to bring you some tips on how to deal with different situations and scenarios that you might find challenging, because I found them all challenging too. And in this process, I have learned so much, but I will admit, sometimes it's hard for me to take my own advice. And I have wonderful people around me who remind me of that. And they're right. Sometimes it's hard when it's easy to give advice to somebody else, but it's hard to take it yourself. But I'm going to give it all I can, because I've really enjoyed and I've learned a lot doing this. And I hope that I'm helping you. That's my goal. That's my wish for you. And I want everybody to be happy. And if I can help you reach that happiness, that makes me all the better happy. So, with that being said, you know how we end each live stream. It's saying, we got this. We can do this. I can, and I will. So, with that being said, have a great weekend. Have an awesome week next week. Take care of yourself and stay safe. And I hope you join me next week again for another topic and another discussion to hopefully bring happiness and help to your life. Thank you